I am so incredibly excited that autumn is finally here. It is October, so hopefully, wherever you are in the world, you get to experience a little bit of chilliness. I sure as heck am so freaking glad that we're done with the moisty weather, and finally, it is my favorite season of the year. It's unfortunate that it's only here for like such short amount of time, and then we're gonna transition into the freaking ice age. But I'll cherish it while I still have it. And today, well, actually, today is Sunday. I've done something that I really wanted to for a long while. I mean, it's more like an annual event, but before I get to it, of course, you know the rundown. I'm gonna have to tell you everything that happened to me this week. And I actually went to like a touristy place in Seoul. I went to the COEX Mall, did some stuff there on a weekday. Yeah, I know, dangerous. On a weekday, and then celebrated. Oh my gosh, that's right. Celebrated Uni's birthday. Went to meet some friends. Police looking for my sanity outside. And fast forward to today, something big happened. So grab a drink, catch your criminals. I just finished my dishes. I'm so freaking excited because, to be honest, I was really thinking about putting this off until Tuesday because I plan on doing something else on Tuesday. So I was like, if I wait a little more, whoa, excuse me, then I have something more to talk about. But I was like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Your schedule is every Sunday. Let's stick to your schedule. My brain was really trying to resist this, but I won because my brain is smooth. So here we go. So last podcast, I talked about how I started enrolling. That sounds weird. I haven't been a student in so long. I enrolled in this kind of like a creative community. Wait, then I can't use the word enroll. Let me just say joined. I joined this creative community hosted by Adrian Per, which is one of the pretty famous, pretty prominent creator in like the short form realm. And what we do in the community is that, we often invite other big creators to have like Q&A sessions. Sometimes we talk about gears. Sometimes we just talk about different things in the creative process. And another thing that we do is work review. So because I joined community and I thought, maybe this is a good chance for me to get some valuable feedback from other creatives. People are trying to do the same thing. So I submitted my work for work review, and then there's only one thing left, which is a homework assignment. So again, it's built like a class. So of course, every class is going to have some kind of a homework. And for us, our homework was to create a video about the place that we currently reside, what you like about it, how does it inspire you. And then for me, I'm currently living in Seoul. So I decided, you know what? I had an idea about what I wanted to do for my next project, but I could postpone it to work on this because it's something refreshing. It comes with instruction. Listen, I am so neurodivergent. If there are instructions, it's tenfold better for me because if you just leave me to it, I'm going to get myself lost. Like, I'm not reliable for my own sake. So since he has all these things that I have to fulfill, I'm like, okay, great. I came up with my script. I finished that. I recorded it last weekend. I found my music. And then I came up with a shot list. And now, okay, I have these locations. These are the shots that I wanted to get. Now the thing is like coming up with when can I go to these spots and then take these videos. And for most of the places that I wanted to visit, they tend to be very crowded during weekends. So I had thought, last week was a little bit busy for me. I kind of sort of had a full schedule except Wednesday. So I thought, okay, Wednesday is my best bet. So I decided to go to one of like the biggest mall in Korea. It's called the COEX. Actually, I think COEX itself, it's for something else, but the coex is connected to the Starfield Mall, and that's where like everything is. And then in the Starfield Mall, I don't remember, is it in like the basement floor? I think it's located in the basement floor, but it's so tall, it's so high. It like the ceiling is made of, it's like a sky. What is it called? Oh my gosh, I don't remember what it's called. It's not called a sky window. Skylight. It's kind of like a skylight because essentially you just see the sky outside. So there's a big giant 2-story library in coex. And then I had an idea of taking a shot there. So I was like, okay, I wanted to go. I wanted to sit at one of the long tables that they have on the first floor of the library. But it's always full because people will go there really early, take up a spot, and then be productive there. But I wanted to film there, so I thought, okay, then that means I have to go there when coex first opened at 10:30. So given my commute, that means I need to leave my place at, when did I leave? I had to leave. I should have left at around 9, but I really didn't want to, not to say waste my day away. I wanted to keep a few hours to myself and then go. And I thought to myself, if by the time I get there, although it's early, although it's on a weekday, if I don't find a spot, that's okay. I will find a way around it. Because I think the night before I was really tired. It was my last week subbing for another teacher's class. So ooh, that was my tummy, sorry. I had felt kind of like mentally drained. I think class itself they were being really rowdy and stuff. So when I got home, I was like, ugh. And then I slept really well. But that also meant I woke up really late. And then I'm looking at the clock like, oh, the coex about to open in like 40 minutes. You're not going to get there on time. So I just kind of took my time, and then I decided, I was like, I even messaged Taro too. I said, hey, I'm going to be in your area. Do you want to grab lunch together? I'll be like by coex. And then he's like, oh, that's a good idea. So I went to coex. I think I actually got there at 11. So 30 minutes later than when I expected to. And I was actually really lucky because when I got there, I took the escalator down, and then when I passed, there's a Starbucks there. And the Starbucks has these like big windows. You can see through it. I saw there was like an old man getting up from his seat with his magazine. And I dashed there so fast, like so fast. What did I say? I dashed there so fast, like Shazam, and got myself that golden seat that I wanted. So I set up everything. I had my camera with me, which I was being extra careful because I'm going to work, and I work with children, and they're always nosy, and they touch my stuff, and I'm like, listen, I cannot take my bag into my classroom. If it gets dropped, that's my kidney. Okay? So anyways, I set up everything, and then I filmed the shot that I wanted, but it didn't, how I envisioned it in my mind and how it actually turned out didn't really match. So I felt a little bit, I wasn't really satisfied. It bothered me, okay? It bothered me, and I kept thinking about, how could I make it up? What other shots can I take to just, kind of be a remedy to this situation? So while I was thinking about that, I decided to sit down and journal a bit. I wanted to write down my thoughts, about enrolling in this creative community so far, the insecurities that I feel and the inspirations that I felt as well. I think ever since joining, it rekindled this part of competitiveness in my creative approach, because before I create for myself, but now I see all these amazing talents. I kind of want to hold up a stick to it too. Like I want to be able to say, hey, like hold up my like small weapon and be like, hey, I could throw a punch too. Um, I think that has been a really good motivator for me. But also, I think I just need to start editing and stop planning and shooting these shots that I think I need. Because technically speaking, it's only a 1 minute video. So I've lived here for so long. I have so many shots accumulated from living in different cities. I'm pretty sure I have enough to convey what I want to, but it's just that, I wanted to elevate my style, my editing, my my cinematography, so that I could have my piece to reflect where I am and who I am at the moment. I had a brain fart moment. Excuse me. It's probably a big giant bubble in my vein. So that was that. After I filmed, after I wrote down my thoughts, I actually went onto the second floor because I looked up and I saw that there were some empty tables on like the right side. And I said, okay, let me just go up there and read because I did bring my book. I thought, if I get there at 10:30, Taro's lunch break is around like 12:30 to 1. There's a big gap in between. I already finished prepping for my classes, so what can I really do? And I was like, I want to read. I always talk about reading, and I always give myself the excuse that, oh, you don't have enough time. And sometimes I feel like when I want to read, reading feels like a waste of time, not because I don't appreciate what I read, which, oh my gosh, speaking of reading, last week, actually, when? Last week, when exactly? I want to know. Taking out my planner. Last Monday. Did I talk about this earlier? If I talked about this last. No, there's no way. Yeah, that happened this week. Wait, that happened this week. This Monday, sorry, my bad. This Monday, I finally finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I started that book a while ago, and I've only read it on the bus and in the subway. But lately, I've been really tired. So now when I get on the bus, I don't even try to read. But I do have my Kindle in my bag. I would get on the subway, get on the bus, and like I would doze off. I would set up a timer and I would just kind of power nap for 30 minutes and then wake up until I have to go to like take another form of transportation. But on Monday, I wasn't really feeling well and I was stationed. Let's just say that I was stationary for the most part. And I thought, I don't want to be on my phone. I want to do something else. And I grabbed my Kindle. And at that point, I think I was only 55% through. Because, like it shows you how much more you have to complete in order to complete the ebook. Anyways, I sat there and I think binged the rest of the books in 3-ish, 4 hours. Like I didn't move. I just sat there and I binged the whole thing. I was like, wow, this is one of my favorite books that I read this year. And I don't know how I could put it down in the first place. I couldn't. Like when I first started reading it, the story was so engaging. The plot twist was be twisted like a churros. And it was like this, it was so fascinating. But I think I lost the momentum, which is why I didn't finish it. But it's such a bingeable book, and I highly recommend you to read it. It was so good. So yeah, and wait, what are we talking about? Neurodivergent, come back. My two brain cells, calling my two brain cells. Reading, yes. Whenever I want to read, I feel like, reading takes so long. I could be doing other things like editing, like cleaning my room, like cooking, like playing freaking PlayStation, like wasting my time on my cell phone. Like these were all the alternative options that my brain had offered to me every single time. A part of my brain says, "Hey, I kind of want to read the book that you put down last week." But then when I went to coex, the environment is just surrounded by books. People are either reading or working on some documents on their laptop. And I'm like, I don't want to be unproductive here. It's that social pressure. This is the reason why I am more productive in cafes. At home, I enjoy Uni's company and I like my place, but I just can't focus. But when I go outside, I feel like, I know no one really cares about what I'm doing, but I feel like because I'm in this environment where you're expected to be busy, I have to be busy. And then I finally, my what is it called? My attention span decided to, clock in, and then we get really productive over just like a few hours. So I go to the second floor. I sat down in an empty chair, and then I was like, wait a minute. This setting is better than the first shot that I took. So I film there a little bit, and then I film a little bit there, and then I started reading, and then when Taro texted me again, it's like, hey, let's go grab lunch, I'm ready. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. That felt really good. It felt like I had a sip of water and I've been thirsty for so long. My brain was craving for another medium, like I guess inspiration from another medium or whatsoever. I have this really bad habit of, if I really like something, I would hold off on finishing it. And that is especially true when it comes to book. There is one book, it's a Chinese book that I really like. The English translation of it, the title is called A Man's Sensory Journey. Journey? Yeah. But what it really talks about is how we carry our hometowns with us as we wait, hold on. It's like, oh, how do I even explain this? Here, let me rely on Google for one bit. Like last time, it didn't really work, but you know what? Maybe it immediately popped up as Japanese. Wait, what the heck? A man's century. Where's Chinese? Simplified. Here we go. Let me change my language. Give you a little ASMR. I'll take off my keyboard cover. 背着故乡去旅行. Okay, wait. 背. Oh, not 背, it's 带. 带着故乡去旅行. Travel with your hometown. Yeah, exactly. The way he talks about like nostalgia, the way he talks about flavor. I think the last chapter that I read was talking about flavors and food. And the way he explains everything is so poetic in Chinese. The reason why I put off reading it, because I felt like it's like eating your favorite dish. If you hurry up and finish it all in one take, that's it. You don't get to savor it for long. But when I really slow down and I take it chapter by chapter, I feel like I could appreciate it more. I just want his words to linger a little bit longer. But yeah, I wish you could read it in English. But it's like talking about why our body craves, like why we get homesick, why different flavor profiles has like a deeper meaning than you think, and why people these days are kind of losing touch with not only taste, but also losing that appreciation for a lot of the things that we have. Because I think this is a pretty old book, because we can get many things without much struggles now, so that the flavors per se don't really stay with us because everything is so accessible. My words can't do it. My words cannot do it justice. I think I'm only on like chapter 5, and I'm not even halfway done. I just don't want to finish that book. I just don't want to. It's very hard for me to go back and rewatch something or reread something that I like, because for me, if I finish something and it's perfect, I just want to leave it like there. Leave it like there? Pooh! Woo! I just wanted to leave it right there. And maybe after a few years, and then I come back and I revisit it. This isn't true with Office, with Killing Eve, because I could rewatch them a million times and I would recount the line by line. I love those. I love them so much. But like another favorite show like Warrior Nun, I feel like I can't really rewatch it. I just want to leave it there on my shelf until if something new happens, and I'll take it down and dust it off, revisit a few episodes, and then put it right back again. Oh, also Tiger King. But I feel like Tiger King is a show that you can just put on in the background, and eventually when you hear something ridiculous, you're like, yep, that's Tiger King. That's the documentary that started all my documentary obsessions. So when I met up with Taro, I almost said his other name. We were supposed to go to this gupap place. Gupap place is like, imagine Korean traditional soup and then served with rice. It's like soupy rice. And that's something I really enjoyed as a kid, because when I was in China, where I'm from, my hometown is really known for their soup. And what I like to do is, I really love the soup as well, right? But I also have rice. So I would dump my rice into my soup. Essentially, that's gupap in Korea. But the not my parents, because I didn't. Anyways, not my parents, but everyone else around me would be like, don't do that. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not good for your stomach. But I was like, but I like doing this. Anyways, we were supposed to be going to a gupap place because gupap is one of my favorite type of food. But once we got there, we met up and he's like, actually, what kind of food are you craving? Because it was getting cold, it was getting chilly. I was like, maybe gupap would be good, something warm or something greasy. And once we got there, we looked inside and then he's like, well, if you're craving something greasy, actually I know a buffet place, like an all-you-can-eat tonkatsu place, and it's pretty cheap and really good. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I want something greasy. So we walked maybe for like 5 minutes. We went into this random building. We went underground, took some turns, looked kind of sketch, right? Like if you didn't tell me that this was a restaurant, I would have never known that it was a restaurant. Walk in, it's like a small hole-in-the-wall restaurant, and there's like a bunch of people inside, but most people were in their office uniform, so probably it's like probably office workers who've somehow found this place. And it's a very small buffet. They have some kind of fried chicken, some kind of soba, soba noodle, and then they have tteokbokki, they have pasta. Their pasta was actually really good, like oil, some kind of oil pasta, spicy oil pasta. And then that famous tonkatsu. They have rice, but no one gets rice. Some kind of glazed sweet potato. Plum juice. Oh my gosh, that's what I wanted to get for my groceries. Let me write it down, because I'm supposed to order groceries tonight for this week. Yeah, the plum juice was really good. There's plum juice, corn soup, bean sprout soup, and then cabbage. You could make cabbage salad, coleslaw, I guess, in a sense. What else did they have? I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. It was really small, but everything seems really fresh. I think every 15 minutes or so, they'll come out with like a new plate of food because one, people are really hungry. Two, it's just like a lunch rush. People are coming in, they eat, and then they rush out. So, wait, hold on. Plum. Here, ASMR. Plum juice. It was called like mission? I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's like a few days ago. And so I got a little bit of everything. I was afraid that I would not overeat. I would take too much stuff because, my eyes are bigger than my stomach. But the tonkatsu, wow. Like, everything was only 9,900, so like less than $9. And the pasta was really good too. So we ate there and then we parted ways because he had to go back to work and I had to go to work as well. That was Wednesday. So I'm like, all right, at least one more thing checked off of my checklist. Have another shot. Then comes Saturday. Yeah, then comes Saturday. Friday, I had a full day. When I got home, went on a trash run, and then I had to go to bed early because on Saturday, I have a haircut appointment. So I don't really cut my hair very often. I just kind of let it grow unless if it gets really annoying. And last year, yep, that's right, you heard it. Last year, I went to this new place since I've moved. And then I was a little bit scared. This place is a little bit smaller. And they don't speak English. But I saw that they did a haircut that I wanted to try it out. It was called a hush cut. And it's not like a wolf cut, but similar. Maybe like a toned down version of a wolf cut. Anyways, I went back to this app. So the app that I booked the appointment is called Kakao Hair Shop. Like again, Kakao dominates everything over here. I looked at my appointment in the past a year ago and I'm like, do I want to book it with them again? Like the experience itself wasn't as great as the other hair salons that I went to, but the cut, I remember last year the cut was my favorite cut out of all the haircuts that I've gotten since I moved to Korea. Well, actually, since I stopped getting haircuts from my mom, okay? So, I was like, well, this time I'm gonna go alone. I'm not gonna ask Taro to come with me. I have to be a big girl. Also, eventually you have to start doing things on your own, okay, Julie? So I wrote down everything in my notes. And, just in case if she has any questions, I could just kind of show her the memo because everything, like, I talked about the length, which I didn't really care about. Like to be honest, I don't really care all that much about my hair. I don't really style it in the morning. If I wash it in the morning instead of at night, I'll just blow dry and then I walk out of the house. That's it. Very minimal. And then I also talked about, what is it? I talked about length. I was like, it could be shoulder length, but, whatever you think suits me. If you think it should be longer, short. If you think it should be shorter, sure. I'm just looking for something different. And also, what else did I wrote down in my notes? I don't remember it now. Color, it was actually a combo. It was a cut and dye combo. So I dyed my hair, last time I dyed my hair ash blonde. No, ash brawn. Whoa. Do you hear? Ash brown. Thank you. And then the color is not what you think it will come out, but it was pretty nice. I was like, okay, let's do that again. And then hush cut. Again, shoulder length. If not, you can adjust it. I really don't care. I really don't mind. Just cut my hair comfortably. Like, don't feel stressed. I'm not very particular about my hair. I left that in my memo section, and then I went to the hair shop place. So I actually got there earlier before they even opened because the earliest appointment's at 11. So I was like, okay, cool. And I took a taxi there because my bus would have gotten me late. Walked in, and as soon as I walked in, I realized I forgot my umbrella in the car. I was like, oh no. So I had to go to GS, which is another convenience store, buy an umbrella because I knew that it was gonna rain that day. And it had to rain prior to me getting into the taxi. So I was like, okay, I guess I have to buy an umbrella because after my haircut, I was meeting with a friend. So I walked in at 11 on the dot. There was only like 2 people there working at the time. At the front desk, I see this lady. She looks really, I'm gonna be really honest, she looks really cold. And I was like, hi, I have a reservation. She's like, what's your name? And I told her my name is Julie. And she's like, all right, have a seat. So I sat, and then there's just people walking by. And eventually she told me, it was like very minimal interaction, which I don't mind. I'm just afraid, like, did I offend her? Like, did I make her upset? I couldn't tell because she seemed so cold. But we sat down. I tried to show her my memo thing that I wrote down, but she didn't look at it. She she didn't look at it, so I was like, oh shoot, like is she angry? Did I do something wrong? So I just kind of like sat on the chair, and then she kind of gestured like my hair length near my shoulder. I'm like, I've never said yes so many times in my life. I'm like, nah, 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 nah. Like I was like, yes. Is this length okay? Yes. Do you want bangs? Yes. Is this bangs okay? And I'm like, She tried to give me like a forehead bang, and I didn't know how to tell her. I've tried it before. It was a disaster. But I kind of hesitated, and I guess she kind of understood. So she showed me another one. She was like, "How about this one?" I was like, "Nah." And then we started picking out the hair color. So she came back with this like booklets of different, I guess, different degrees of ash brawn, brown. God, why am I keep saying brawn? What is a brawn? Like LeBron James? Oh wow. This is a new low for me. Ash brown. Ash brown. 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 And then eventually we settled on number 8, whatever number 8 means. I think she was trying to tell me, because your hair is already like dyed before. Yes, I had like a two-tone going on because of the last time I dyed it, it was borderline blonde. It was fading into a blonde because of the dyes all went out and stuff. And she's like, since your hair is already a little bit lighter, it's gonna be within this range. Like, which one do you want? And I was like, number 8 is fine. And I sat down. And then I think I don't remember exactly how long it took, but I remember sitting there for a while. And then she came back, checked on my hair, put in more solutions. And then she brought in this huge alien looking thing that started heating up my hair. And then a little bit later, we washed my hair, styled my hair, and she's like, boom, this is it. First time I get to see her face with my glasses. She was smiling. I felt like a big rock on my chest had been lifted. I was like, oh, okay, she smiles. And I'm like, she's like, what do you think? I'm like, this is perfect. And honestly, I really did like my cut. Like, this is why I come back to this place. Is it expensive? I mean, honestly, with the hair plus dye combo, I think the price is reasonable. It's a little bit cheaper than the other place that I went to. And is the service as good as the other place? No. But did she get the job done? Yes. So am I going to come back here next year? Yes. Well, maybe I'll come back in the summer instead of in the winter, depending on how fast my hair is growing. My hair is pretty damaged. I remember always taking pride in the fact that my hair has. Wait, think for 1 second and then speak, okay, Julie? I've always took pride in the fact that my hair was very like silky smooth prior to me coming to Korea and dyeing it every few months. But then now, after so many different trials, my hair is like French fries, crinkle cut fries. So I was like, oh, I really need to start taking care of my hair, which is why today, after I did my little ting, I went to Olive Young, which is like their drugstore beauty store, and I got these like actual hair conditioner. Because before I was just been ordering online from this random place that I also order my groceries from. And I don't think that conditioner is conditioning, because my hair again has been like a crinkle cut fry, and it's been bothering me for the longest time. But finally I got my cut, and then I was gonna go see my friend. So it's so funny because this friend that I'm meeting up with, I actually saw her last week when Taro and I went to Chinese restaurant. She was sitting there at the window with her coworker, and then when we made eye contact, she was like, WTF? And then I was like, this is so funny. But I was seeing her again this week because last weekend I was busy. So we had decided to meet at this cafe. We wanted to pick a cafe because the time that I have available was a little bit awkward. I It was a little bit later than lunch, but I couldn't do dinner. So we decided to go to a cafe. And the cafe that we went to on Saturday was a place called 시장. Sijang. It's, if you think about it, it's very similar to the word market, but this place is like a French cafe in the sense that they only sell baguettes. Yeah, they sell different kinds of baguettes, and then they sold like one or two different kinds of soup and very very small drink selection. And the space was really small too, and it's near Seoul Forest. So we got off at Seongsu Station and we walked there together. So their baguette was pretty. Okay, I've never had an authentic baguette before, so I don't know what is authentic and what is not. But comparing to the ones that I've ingested before in my lifetime, this one feels a little bit more. It feels a little less commercialized. Wait, does that make sense? Like it feels a little bit more rustic and authentic. See, I can't use the word authentic because I've never been, but it was a good baguette. I got a sandwich. It was called the Sijang baguette, and it was number 3. If you ever go there, it's pretty good. Had some meat and then pesto and some, was it butter or was that cheese? I think it was butter. And I also had coffee, of course. I had my vanilla latte. And then we chatted there. But then afterwards, we decided to get up and actually walk all the way to Seoul Forest. It was like a 16-minute walk. And on the way, we went through this traditional market. And unexpectedly, we found this kind of like a wine place. It was definitely like a hole in the wall because see these restaurants, like Sijang included, it's so like if you didn't come across them from social media, you would never think that you'll find them in a place like that. Because if you look outside, all around them, all the buildings around them were not like restaurants. They were like run down buildings or like really, really old stores that's struggling to stay alive or is already closed. And it's only like a shell of a man. So I'm like, interesting. They're probably renovating places in these cheaper areas and just, digital marketing to bring people in, which is really smart because you save money on rent and also hashtag aesthetic. But we saw like so many kittens there. They were just chilling on the wall. And then we moved closer, but eventually they all ran away. And then when we got to Seoul Forest, we just kind of did like a big loop. We walked around, we smelled the deer poop. Yeah, they have deers there because I certainly smelled their feces. I remember that smell because in spring, when there's cherry blossom, I came to Seoul Forest again, and the deers were out, and the deers were out, and so were their feces. So I remember that smell. I was like, oh my gosh, the deers are still here. But we walked around, and then eventually we came to like a pond, and we just kind of leaned at the railing and just talked about life for like 20-30 minutes. They're just standing there. It was a very serene feeling. Feels very peaceful to just to be able to find peace in someone's company and also in with the peace of nature. Like I don't have to be, I feel like I'm at an age where I don't have to be doing something that's, like physically taxing or physically stimulating to have a good time. I could just sit down by a lake. Like I am going to go back to the Han River at some point in autumn because winter gets too cold and autumn is the perfect weather. to just be there, soak in nature, listen to all the ambient noise and look at the river. And that's what we did at Seoul Forest. It was just we were looking at fish. It was like a school of fish that was so clueless in the pond. They could never find food. There were so many water bugs scattered all over, but they've done the impossible to avoid every single one of them. And we were like, these fishies are a little bit not very bright. So, like, you guys need help. Do we need to buy some bread, some crackers, or whatever? Like, who's feeding y'all? Because you guys need help. You guys need guidance. You guys need counselors. But after that, we parted ways, and I came back early because Taro and I had planned to celebrate Uni's birthday. Uni, say something. Uni. Every single time I count on you when we need it the most. You sleep or you lick your butt. But we came back and then we made a cake. Actually, I bought some canned food, but the ones that I got, I didn't. I got these, I wouldn't say bougie ones, but yeah, bougie ones. And you know how like cheap, what is the word? The cheap canned foods are usually like pate. Wait, that might not be the right word to pronounce it, but it's like a chunk. So, and in that sense, we could just flip it over and use it as like a cake base. And I had gotten these treats to decorate it. But when I opened the freaking can, it was like a water soupy based can. And I was like, oh shoot, that's not gonna work. So I made like a kebab because I have these freeze dried chicken breasts for Uni because she loves chicken over me. And I just put them together through the freaking tiny little candle. And I basically used them as like a buoy so that the candle stays afloat in the can. We did that. We took some picture. And then I put on Cat TV when he was having a splendid time. And Taro and I were playing freaking Diablo 3 together. It was a good day. Then I came home and had to mentally prepare myself for Sunday because I have been waiting for this day in this month for at least 2 months now. Because I had reserved a ticket for the Korea Open, which is like a tennis tournament. It's a tennis 250 tournament for women's tennis, WTA. And I got a tickets to the final game. So that was going to be my Sunday agenda. Like this would be the only thing that I do. So I got up. Actually, I was running a little bit late on time. I was a little scared. There's no way I could take a taxi this time because it's all the way in the Olympic Park. And that's like an hour and a half from me. And if I take taxi, it's probably even more. And I don't even want to imagine the price I have to pay. So I got there 10 minutes before the game started. I think, because it's women's sports, it doesn't have as many audience as men's sports tend to have. I think the only exception is gymnastics because women's gymnastics is far more popular than men's gymnastics. But if you look at it like football, basketball, or any other competition, the men's version is the one that generates a lot more revenue and therefore is the one that people care about more or put in a lot more effort. But I was excited regardless. I didn't realize it was a WTA event until later because last year, technically I count this as my second Korea Open, but if you count events-wise, this would be the third because last year they held the men's and the women's at the same time. Well, maybe not the same time, but like back to back. So first weekend was women and then second weekend was like men, like that. So right? Yes, because Emma Raducanu was here, but she had to retire. I think that was the part. That was the year where microdust was so bad. So many people. I think Cameron was here. Cameron, what was his last name? He's the UK player. I think even Casper Ruud was here as well, and another player. I don't remember at the moment at off the top of my head. But yeah, I watched it last year and I was so excited. I was willing to pay any price to watch it again. And this time I booked it through my Bink app and I got like a $10 off ish discount, and also I booked it through like early bird. So I picked a pretty good spot. But I didn't know exactly how far I was because on the map, it's like when you go to concert, you get a ticket, but when you get there, it's not as close as you think. So when I went there, the doubles final is at 12:30 and then the singles final is at 3 p.m. But I went there at 12:30 cuz listen, if I'm about to pay $70 for a ticket, you bet I'm going to sit there for both matches. And this is like an annual event for me. And tennis is one of those things that I really really genuinely thoroughly enjoy. I when I'm stressed and I play tennis, even if I'm playing by myself, I feel so awake. It's like my brain just tunes out everything else and I just focus on me, the racket, and the ball. And I just have fun. I think that was like a period of my life where it was a good time for me. So tennis represented that period of my life. Anyways, so when I went to the courts, I knew which side that I was going to be on, but I didn't really understand like the seating thing because when I walk in the past, it was blocked off by like A, B, C, D. But then I walked in, it was like 36, 26, 43. And I'm like, mine is supposed to be 11. And I don't see a 10 anywhere. So I go to where I thought the seat was at and I look at the number. Like on the seat, you see a number. So my ticket is 11, first row, 16th seat. So I'm like, okay. So I went to the first row in that section. I found the 16th seat and I sat down. And then I was like taking pictures and stuff. But the person next to me was talking to me like, kind of like, excuse me, we bought 14, 15, 16, 17. So you were sitting in our seat. And I was like, wait, no way. I was like, please give me a second. And then I looked at my ticket. And I was like, oh, it says 16. And then I look at their ticket. My ticket is 11, first row, 16th seat. Their ticket says 36, first row, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I was like, oh, I'm in the wrong section. So I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, honest mistake. I didn't mean to. So I get up and then I'm looking around. I'm looking around the freaking stadium and I don't see 10. I don't even see 2 or 5. And I'm like, where this one says 36. What happened to all the rows before 36, So I desperately looking for someone with a badge. And I walked up to one person and I was like, excuse me. But then I saw his tag says media. I was like, shoot, this is not the person I need to find. So I'm like turning around and look left and right and he points one direction and there was another lady in a white tennis cap. And then I show her my ticket and I was like, where is 11? And she took me further down the court. So like closer to the center court. And she's like, here, I'm literally the first row next to the wall. So you know how there's a tennis court? It's surrounded by 4 sides. On either end, there's a wall, right? Because, wait, actually, why is there a wall? I don't know why. But like the line referees, they're standing there. The ball boys and ball girls are standing there. And then on the other side, on the longer sides of the courts, that's the VIP seats, right? So I'm on the shorter end, one of the shorter end, and I'm the first row. This is the closest I've ever seen. I can freaking see the tags, like the clothing tags on the players' uniform. That's how close I was. It was insane. I was like, this is the best $70 I've ever spent in my entire life. So first up was doubles finals. And it was actually two teams, a team of Thai and then a team of Czech with someone from the United States. I haven't heard of them before, but the Czech and American combo, they were seeded. They were like the second seed. So I'm like, okay, they must be good. And it was such an entertaining match. It was so good. It was so tense. I don't remember last year's match being this exciting. But we were rooting for the ties, and then they were doing they had like these moments where the rallies were just insanely good, and then they got the whole crowd going. But eventually, yeah, the seeded pair won, and then there was a 1 hour gap. 1 hour gap between the doubles finals and the singles final. But then I didn't want to leave the arena, so I just kind of stayed at my place and killed time on my phone and looking through the footages that I took on my camera. Like in the beginning, I took a few shots when they were warming up, and then also at the end, towards the end of the set, where you can kind of see where the game is going. And then 3 o'clock comes around, and then we have our finals, singles final. So it was, I think, actually number 4 in the world, Jessica. She's from the US, as well as this other player. I have not heard of her before, but she's actually from China. So like, in a sense, this is a battle of my internal identity crisis, because I'm Chinese American. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my identities fighting each other. But I think she's not in the top 10. Later on, like during breaks, I looked her up. Her name was Yuan Yue, and she is like, I think 178 in the world. But the way that she played, she was so explosive, and she actually came into the court with a band. Like, she had this huge bandage on her quads, so I think she probably had some kind of injury, and she was trying to pull through, because you could kind of tell that Jessica was targeting her movements, because she wasn't able to move very quickly, given her, because you see, like, in between match, you just see her like slapping her thigh, just to kind of, but it was so good. It was so good, even though their rankings were so different, so far off. But it was a very entertaining match. In the beginning, they didn't want to, like, in the beginning, the Chinese player didn't let up as easily, but like, as the set goes on, her body's gonna break down, her leg is not gonna hold up as well as it did in the beginning, and she was starting to really like trail off. But there were like handful of rallies that were really, really, it was like insanely good. Like, it got us on the edge of our seats. And then because I'm in the first row, I feel like if I go back and I look at some of the highlights, you just might see my face contouring into like different degrees of just the emotional roller coaster every single time it's like a service point, or when it's like a break point. But it was so good. But I was so exhausted, because technically I've been out at 10. Yeah, out at like 10-ish, 10:30-ish, all the way to like 6 p.m. and I was in the sun all day. and I didn't eat anything except crackers. I bought this like rice drink from a convenience store, and I bought a pack of crackers. And on the way back, I was so exhausted, I kept dozing off, and I almost missed my stop. And I was dozing off, but I wasn't sitting. Like I was legit standing and holding on to a handrail. So that was really exciting. A very, I don't know. I feel like there are so many blessings in my life that if I blink, it would just fly by. But things like this, like, like getting a good haircut, meeting friends, having like a very peaceful walk, being able to go to like a tennis tournament that I've always wanted to go. I think my ultimate goal is I want to go to US Open. I want to go to like Roland Garros. Like I want to go see all these tennis tournaments. Hopefully some point in my life I'll have that freedom to do so before I'm too old and gray. I think there's always a way, like you make sacrifices, but at least I have a goal, and at least I'm able to watch an event, even though it's just like a 250 event in Korea, and I don't have to travel far to see it. But it's the little things, It's the Diablo at night after a meal. It's the chilly weather that's finally, taking over Seoul. It's the peaceful reading time at the library, and I guess being able to live on my own and do the things that I want without too many restrictions, or I think it was a good reminder to count your blessings once in a while, because when you're in it, they exist. It feels very like, what is the word in English? Let me look it up in Chinese, because in Chinese is 理所当然. 理所当然. It translated to of course. Things in your life that are always like, of course. No. It's like things that we could say that everything happens for a reason, when you manifest certain things and they will happen. But just because we want certain things doesn't mean that they will really happen in our life. And when they really do happen in our life, it's a little miracle in and of its own. And we need to, take the opportunity to recognize that, because not everyone has the privilege to actually witness those miracles, whether big or small. So this is your sign to count your blessings and appreciate the things that you have around you, because in a sense, you're living at least one of your dreams from the past. And I think that is so true. This is from a video that I saw, and I just want to relate those feelings to you. So in conclusion, thank you for listening to the 76 podcasts of Lactose Intolerant. Happy belated to my raccoon cat Uni. She just yawned at me. Wow, how rude. Uni, come on, say a few words for the audience. What, like usually when humans have like a big gathering, they have to do a toast. Wait, there's no anyone else. Oh my god, you're getting long. Ah, my chest. When, oh, hello. Well, hello. So you're turning like 3? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. What are some aspirations you have for like the upcoming years? Like, what are some goals? The floor is yours. Like, do you want like more chicken breast? Like, what else can I do for you? This is your chance to put in a request. And yeah, what else? You can't. You can't be making that sound. Are you like? Okay, alright, fine. Oh my gosh, you're so spoiled. You are so spoiled. I just touched your butthole. Oh my gosh, it was moisty. I need to go wash my hand. So, again, thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And if you haven't had the chance to experience autumn, I hope that when autumn is here, you'll be ready and plan some festive activity to appreciate the weather while it lasts. Also, do stay, what is the word? Dress warmly, because the temperatures are fluctuating a little. It's kind of wild. If I don't bring a jacket in daytime is still kind of warm. At night, I would turn into a popsicle. So stay warm and hydrate yourself. I will see you next week, hopefully with more exciting news. Okay?